Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Now I've realised there's a lot of you out there that want to make a living as a coder but maybe you don't know where to start. So in this video I'm going to break down 10 different ways to make money. For each of these we're going to talk about how easy it is to start, how easy it is to earn money from, and the time commitment needed. Some of these ideas directly trade time for money, whereas some have different degrees of passiveness, so you can earn money whilst you do other things. Do let me know in the comments about your own successes and any other ideas you've had. Now idea number one is the most obvious. Get a developer job at a company. This is how I and most of the other developers I know made a bulk of their income. The most important thing here is to choose what you love and stick to it. Expertise in a single topic will always generally pay more than a broader, less expert role. Stack Overflow publishes a yearly developer survey, which is a great place to look at which technologies and frameworks are popular. I'm going to give full-time job a difficulty rating of 1. Being a full-time developer is relatively easy to start. A number of engineers I know started out with General Assembly or Makers Academy and other coding boot camps. I personally did a computer science degree. A degree will take 3 to 4 years of your life and go into more detail than a boot camp, but both are valid ways to get going. Just make sure you never stop learning. A full-time job will give a difficulty rating of 1 for how easy it is to make money. You turn up, you get paid, and a regular salary from day one. Your salary is generally based on experience, but don't make the mistake of going too fast too soon. Experience is worth far more than theoretical knowledge. Developer roles trade your time for money, so we'll give that a time commitment of 5. Your paycheck is based on the amount of time you spend doing your job, and you usually can't do any other work contractually speaking. Even if you do, most employment contracts will attribute ownership of that code that you write to the company that you work for. Okay, so idea number 2 for making money as a coder is to become a contractor. Contracting is essentially the same as being a full-time employee when it comes to the work, but you'll manage your own business, including holidays, sickness and taxes. Contract lengths are usually set when you take on the role, and the most common that I've found is between 3 to 6 months, but they can vary from less than that to 12 months or more. With a contract, you'll generally be integrated into the team you're working with. You'll attend meetings and complete code as part of that team. As with a full-time job, a contract will usually be your only active source of income due to the time expectation, although this isn't usually enforced. A contract longer than 2 years gets a bit sketchy, especially in the UK. There are tax rules around how long you can work for a company before essentially being considered an employee. Take a look into IR35 and try and understand the rules there. A contract will usually define whether it exists inside or outside IR35, and also the rate will generally change when a contract is inside to cover the extra overheads. Personally, I add about £100 to my day rate for an inside IR35 contract, but I also prefer not to take these roles as you have to operate through an umbrella company. Disclaimer, I'm not a tax advisor, so you should definitely get professional help on the tax implications in your own countries before considering any of this. Typically you'll be paid on a day rate, which you can negotiate based on your knowledge and experience. Most contracts are found through employment agents or job boards. Agents will usually give you details on the day rate range that's on offer, but I'd recommend establishing what day rate you're comfortable with. Now we'll give contracting a 3 for difficulty on how easy it is to start. Contracting can be quite easy to get into if you have all the foundations in place, but you should really have a few years of experience under your belt. There's more of an expectation as a contractor that you'll need very little onboarding, that you're autonomous and will generally hit the ground running. Now contracting is a 1 for ease of making money. Just like a full-time job, you get paid for your time. Despite the high rates you'll see when looking at contracts, don't make the mistake that contracts are worth a lot more than full-time roles. You also have to cover taxes in that day rate, and anytime you're not working, you'll not be getting paid. You'll also need to plan for periods of sickness and holidays. Now I'm going to give contracting a 5 for the time commitment. As with a full-time role, contracting is a purest form of active income. By definition, you're paid for the time you commit to working. Okay, so idea number 3 for generating money as a software engineer is to get into freelancing. Freelancing has similarities in contracting. You're doing development work for money, and this is typically on a per project basis. Freelance projects tend to be shorter than contracts, and they come with a well-defined brief that you're generally left alone with to complete. There's a number of places you can either find freelance projects to work on or create a profile for others to find you. Also, because projects are generally shorter, you have to balance devoting all your time to a project with finding the next project to work on. Be as efficient as you can be when freelancing. Build up a library of reusable code or services. Since the only output is the final product, there isn't really an expectation that everything has to be built from scratch. So how easy is it to start? We'll give this a difficulty rating of 1. With freelance projects being fairly short term, you usually find that the work itself is simpler than with contracting or full-time roles, Less notice is paid to your experience level, and projects tend to go to those offering the right rates. Now, freelancing is a 2 for how easy it is to make money. It should be a 1, but you can find some clients are less than honourable with paying on time. Make sure you have a brief, follow it, and always have a contract in place, even for small work. I would never work for a freelancing client without a contract outlining the work and the warranty periods for the work that I produce. Freelancing usually isn't as lucrative as contracting, but by building up a client base and offering more value than just project delivery, you can make a good living from it. Just bear in mind that you'll need to be planning for holidays, sickness and downtime between projects, and also taxes. With freelancing, you're trading time for money, so that's a 5 for time commitment. By being smart, creating and reusing code and working on multiple projects at once, this should balance out with the general lower rates offered as a contractor. So idea number 4 for generating money as an engineer is consulting. Think of consulting more in terms of working with people rather than code. Consultants generally don't get involved with development or coding of a system, and are more involved in training or document generation, system design, or to guide an existing project team. In my experience, consulting roles tend to form part of a wider contracting or freelance role where you'll design something new and then start implementing it. I'm going to give consulting a difficulty rating of 4. Consulting is largely based on knowledge transfer, and as a result you probably need a good deal of working experience in the topic you're consulting on. I'm going to give consulting 2 for how easy it is to make money. There's not a lot of pure consulting roles out there compared to development contracts, and you really have to have a decent level of experience to secure one. Consulting is a direct trade of time for money, so that's a 5 for time commitment. You'll be paid for the time you commit to consulting for a client. If you produce designs or documentation, such as architectural designs or system designs, you can usually expect to be paid separately for those. Idea number 5 for making money as a coder is tutoring and mentoring others. Wherever you are on your journey, there's always someone with less experience interested in what you're able to teach. Always remember that you don't necessarily need to only tutor other professionals. Students are always looking for help with their courses and homework. Tutoring can be done over the internet or in person, and tutoring is a great way of solidifying knowledge for yourself. Find a topic you're comfortable with and create a profile on tutoring connection sites such as Code Mentor, Upwork, Bark, Fiverr, or even create your own website and advertise your services there. I'm going to give tutoring a rating of 1 for difficulty. It's really as simple as creating your profile. The more you tutor, the more recommendations you'll get. It's better to have more recommendations in one place than spread across a number of different platforms. I'm going to give this 3 on how easy it is to make money. You have to find the clients that are willing to pay for your expertise. When you start, I would help with anything you think you can to build up that client base and recommendations. But as you gain experience, always be prepared to be more exclusive about the clients you take or the rates that you charge. With tutoring, you're still trading time for money, so we'll give that a 5 for time commitment. Okay, so now we're going to get into other ways to generate more of a passive income from coding. Idea number 6 is creating, maintaining and running your own software. Take all the experience you have, or even lack of it, and come up with an idea to implement and sell. The advantage here is that you're your own boss. You can make any architectural decisions you like, and you're the one in control of the success of the project. You also have the problem of technology choice. When you're working for somebody else, you'll generally be told, or there'll be some indication of the stack the client wants their project based on. Maybe their entire ecosystem is written in JavaScript, and this will constrain you to only coming up with solutions that match that stack. When you're working on your own systems, you have no constraints. You can do whatever you want, and more importantly, you can change your mind halfway through. If you take anything from this video, then follow this one piece of advice. Separate the design of your project from the implementation. Design it as you would for any other client and make change really difficult. You can always go back on version 2 and redesign the whole thing if you want to. It may surprise you to know that Slack still uses PHP and MySQL in their back end. We'll give writing your own software a difficulty rating of 2. It's easy to get started, even with very little experience. The mark of success here is that if other people find it valuable, they'll use it. I'm going to give this a 4 for how easy it is to earn money. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to get paid for what you've built. There's no guarantees here on ever being able to earn anything from what you build if you can't find the customers. We'll give this a 3 for time commitment. Most people would place writing your own software as a passive income stream, but that's not really the case. After you've built it, you need to manage it, market it, deal with customer services and do all the normal stuff that's involved in running a business. Another way of thinking about writing our own software isn't writing it to run yourself, but simply writing the software and selling it on a marketplace for others to run. I'm going to give this a difficulty rating of 2. It's simple to get started with very little experience. Just find something that's missing or not quite as good as you can build it, and build it. And we'll give this a 2 for how easy it is to earn money from. By producing your own software this way, you offload the marketing to those marketplaces. We'll give this a 2 for the time commitment required. By selling in this way, you'll find it's largely passive when you get up and running. After all, you can write something once and sell it multiple times. Okay, so idea number 7 is starting your own YouTube channel. This is an easy one and probably is exactly why you're watching this video now. YouTube's a great way of building a community around the things that you're interested in. The likelihood is that if you're interested in something, others will be too. I would see YouTube more of a side income to start with. There's a number of different formats for YouTube videos. Work out what you want your channel to be and experiment while you're small. You can start monetizing your channel at 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And it's a great way of learning new things. Also, if you've made it this far, it'd be really awesome if you can hit that subscribe and like button. I'm going to be publishing here regularly and I really want to help you wherever I can to make you the best engineer you can be. YouTube for me is a difficulty rating of 1. It's really easy to get going. We all have phones in our pocket. Just think of something that you think others will find interesting and get creating. I'm going to give a YouTube channel 4 on how easy it is to start earning money. You can turn a YouTube channel into a full-time income, and there's a number of large channels out there that are undoubtedly making serious coin from it. But it's important to keep yourself grounded and developing your coding career. The more you learn from that, the more you can put into your videos. We'll give running a channel a 3 for time commitment. Running a YouTube channel is somewhat passive if you manage to reach the requirements of monetization and getting the views on your videos. It's a slow process though, so don't expect overnight success. You also have to keep generating content, but this isn't directly tied to time for cash, so just get creating. Okay, so we're on to idea number 8, blogging. Blogging is another easy way of making a bit of side income. Very much like YouTube, you need to create content that people are interested in on the topics that you know. Even if you're not 100% sure about a topic, take the opportunity to learn about it before you commit it to a blog. This way you're also learning new things whilst trying to help others. The key here, as with a YouTube channel, is consistency. Search engines will use a number of indicators to surface your content to those searching for it. Having more content that's relevant and recent is far better than an entry you published 5 years ago on a technology that's no longer in general use. Once you have everything up and running and are pulling in visitors, you can throw AdSense or something similar up there, provide subscriptions to premium content, or use Medium to monetize what you publish. Provide value to the community and that will reap its own rewards. I'm going to give blogging a difficulty rating of 1. It's simple to get started. Find a platform or choose a domain to build a brand around and get creating content. I'm going to give blogging a 4 for ease of making money. Like a YouTube channel, blogging is a slow starter. You need to create content and build a following organically through consistency. Don't expect to start getting those hits overnight, and you'll have to be pulling in a lot of traffic to get anything more than a side income from blogging. We'll give blogging a 2 for time commitment. It's easier to pull together a blog article than a YouTube video, and as long as the content that you produce remains relevant, you can generate largely a passive income. You'll need to put regular, consistent work into it, but the time that you put into it is separate from how much or little you can earn from advertising or subscriptions. Idea number 9 is getting involved with hackathons and challenges. Now this is an interesting one. A hackathon is usually organised by a company looking to solve new problems using existing platforms or systems. The premise being that you'll join with a number of other developers and form a team over a weekend or evening, and simply create something new out of the tools available to you. These will then be evaluated by the organisation or organiser, and prizes will be on offer to the winners. This could be monetary, funding, or simply notoriety. I wouldn't propose you can turn attending hackathons into a full-time job, but they're a great way of learning something new, learning how to look at problems differently, and meeting new people. I'm going to give hackathons a difficulty rating of 1. This is really easy. Just find a hackathon close to you through platforms like Eventbrite and attend. You don't need any experience at all, you simply turn up and see how you can contribute. Even if you've just started your coding journey, you can still contribute to a team, and it's a great risk-free way of learning software engineering team dynamics. Now I'm going to give hackathons a 4 when it comes to making money. There's a chance you could win and earn a bit of going out cash, which is what makes it fun. But don't expect a full-time salary from going on the hackathon circuit. We'll give this a 1 for time commitment. Obviously you'll be 100% committed whilst you're attending the event, but it's not going to be full-time. And finally, option number 10, You can be sponsored by companies for the libraries you create. As with any project you build, it's likely that you're using external libraries or packages by other developers. Most of these libraries will have been created by a single developer solving a problem they had and wanting to publish this to help others. A side effect of this is that companies who end up using these packages will occasionally sponsor the developer to maintain the package. Hackathons is a great blog post on sponsorship which I highly recommend that you read. If you find yourself writing the same code over and over again, then consider making it an open source library and publishing it for others to use. I'm going to give library creation a difficulty rating of 3. Creating a library is no more difficult than coding in general for a specific problem, but you do need to understand the library ecosystem around your chosen technology. You'll need to think a little about how others could use it and publish good documentation. I'm going to give this a 5 for ease of earning money. There's certainly no guarantee that you can get sponsored for a project. Another way of generating sponsorships yourself is using a platform such as Patreon and going direct to your users. As with anything, if people find value in what you're creating, then they're quite likely to want to support you and directly contribute to what you're doing. And we'll give this a 2 for time commitment. If you do manage to get sponsored for a particular project, then you can earn a nice side income for maintaining your library. Okay, so wrapping up, I've given you 10 different ways you can make money as a coder. Some are easier than others, but no matter what level of experience you have, you can always make a success of it. Keep learning, stay consistent, and above all, keep coding. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.